the Buddha statue which we have here, may I request the Executive Council, President Dr. Mashelkar, Vice President Dr. Kerkar, Dr. Ravi Pandit and Pashan Thank you.
No, I just want to invite your attention to the statue which is consecrated. It says Mudra for Buddhist person. When Gautama became Buddha, that moment he touched the ground. This is the moment of his giving of realized. So our hope is that each one of us will find some moments of realization if we visit PIC. That is the thought. Wow. When we discussed this thought of the complex of skills,
closer for
he suggested how to be a good way. As we know, he has been one of the most best docent in 20 minutes. And he was one of the best of the faculty. So he chose it. And he generously offered to fund it. Don't ask how much money it costs. This is a
Alright, well, just explaining the program. It's about 4 o'clock now. I the program begins there. So I need to explain what happens in the next 90 minutes. I have discussed this with General Gadkari is the director of Pune International Centre and looking at the all the activities that includes the campus part. So what we'll do is there will be showing you the campus so that we take you around and show different parts. I understand there are many of us, so depending on how many of you want to go, there are 3 or 4 of my colleagues. Is Tanaya here? Neeraj? Oh yeah, okay. And then of course there is General Gadkari and there are a couple other colleagues, so they'll make sure that depending on how many of you want to go. Colonel Kenjalkar? Yeah. Here? Okay, yeah, you are here. So please come forward. So these are the individuals who take you around. Maybe it'll take about 20-25 minutes to do that. There are lots of places where you'll be able to just settle down, have a glass of water or some cool drink given the weather conditions here. And all of that will happen. Around 4:45 they'll start serving the snacks there so that we are able to converse over snacks. And then by 5:15, 5:30 we'll be able to sit down and do the program that will go for an hour or more than an hour. So that's the nature of the program. Just to facilitate it so that there is less of a chaos, but some tiny bit of chaos is okay because that's how we're going to mingle, network, interact with each other. First, we'll have Colonel Kenjalkar taking a team of people and showing the campus around. So that's Colonel Kenjalkar. Any one of you who want to go, you could follow him. And then Neeraj would take another set of people and show around. And those that are remaining, General Gadkari would take them and show the campus. So there could be up to 12 to 15 people. Once that's completed quota, we'll have Neeraj and then General Gadkari, just so that we'll make the movement a bit better. Those who do not want to move and sit down, there is this cafeteria here, right next to me on my right hand side. You can just sit down there and settle there. That's it. Sorry?
There are only limited seats there. You know, Pashan, in PS we call him the ring master.
Also, the trustees are requested after seeing this, and any of these 3 would be able to guide you. There is a boardroom, and you are expected to come to the boardroom after you have seen around, so that for a few minutes you are able to sit there. Some brief conversation needs to happen, and then again you will come back and meet with everybody else. So, yeah, that's it. So we'll start with Kenjalkar, follow Colonel Kenjalkar to start, then Neeraj and then General Gadkari, so that people get to see around. Thank you.
a very good evening to all of you. It is my distinct honor to invite you all to these beautiful premises of the Pune International Centre. 24th of September 2011 was our very first event with Shri Mohandharya ji and Shri Nandan Nilekani. And that marked the beginning of an inspiring, visionary journey that has brought us all here today. Today is also a very auspicious occasion because we are celebrating the 76th Republic Day of our country. And so we will begin today's program with the national anthem sung by the students of Jnana Prabodhini and some members of our staff. This is a slight variation from the program that was sent out to you, but it's a welcome variation. I request you all to please rise for the national anthem.
सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Today is indeed a very, very special moment for all of us. Pune International Centre, a Vichar Manthan, a think tank for innovation and thought leaders, is truly an international centre in Pune, as Dr. Dilip Padgaonkar liked to say. I would like to invite onto the dais the Executive Committee, President Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, Vice President Dr. Vijay Kedkar, Trustee and Treasurer Dr. Ravi Pandit, Trustee and General Secretary Mr. Prashant Girbane. I now request Dr. Mashelkar to address the audience.
Our most beloved Vice President, Dr. Vijay Kedkar, Ravi Pandit, Prashant Girbane, Javadekar Sahib, thank you for specially coming, distinguished trustees, members of PIC family, ladies and gentlemen. It's an emotionally choked day for all of us. Let me begin by wishing you all a very happy Republic Day. This is not just a day to remember the adoption of our Constitution, but a moment to reflect on the ideas that guide our nation: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. As Dr. Ambedkar, the architect of our Constitution, once said, cultivate the spirit of brotherhood, be proud of being Indian. Let's take this message to heart. Today's India stands as a nation of our billion dreams. We are building on the sacrifices of the past to create a future filled with unbound hope and infinite possibilities. I and Dr. Vijay Kedkar were talking in the morning, and we're reflecting on which would be the happiest day, Republic Day of our life. And obviously, both being Padma Bhushan awardees, the answer would have been the day, that Republic Day when those Padma Bhushan awards were declared for us. But both of us agreed that it is not that day. It is this Republic Day which is the most precious for us. because we find it most fulfilling, most joyous, most gratifying. And the reason is obvious. And the reason is this, that you see around here. A dream come true. It's incredible. It did not look possible at one time, but impossible becomes possible. We are inaugurating the PIC campus, our very own campus, our very own home, finally. Who should inaugurate it? Now, I must confess that in all these 14 years, all the great ideas that have been shaping PIC have come from Vijay. Normally, I get a call somewhere around 10, 11. Ramesh, I was just thinking, then I know something new is going to happen. So one day I got a call and he said, Ramesh, I was thinking, who should inaugurate it? And he suggested that it should be His Holiness Dalai Lama, a timeless beacon of love and wisdom who continues to inspire humanity today to embrace compassion, peace, and the unity of all beings. Can't be better. His Holiness Dalai Lama is unable to join us today physically due to his frail health, but he is doing a symbolic inauguration through his blessings and message that he has sent. And it is my privilege, ladies and gentlemen, to read the message to you. And I quote, I am pleased to send my greetings on the inauguration of the campus of the Pune International Centre. Having had the opportunity to visit Pune several times over the years, I have experienced the vibrant intellectual environment that prevails there. I am glad to see that your think tank is taking advantage of this by providing a platform for discussions on issues affecting both regional and national policies. It is encouraging to note that some friends known to me, including Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale and Ambassador Gautam Bambawale, are among your trustees, and I value their knowledge. I am especially heartened to see that you will be involving youth to help build future leadership and to inspire a new generation to create positive social change. I truly feel that this 21st century belongs to the young, but including them in your discussions, you can help to build a better future for India and indeed for the entire world. You might also like to consider at some stage research and discussions on the contemporary relevance of ancient Indian wisdom. Through my own personal experience of studying the rich Buddhist culture that we Tibetans inherited from India, I am convinced that the ancient Indian understanding of the workings of the mind and emotions, as well as such techniques of mental training as meditation developed by Indian traditions, are of great relevance today. India is currently seeing tremendous economic development. Therefore, it is well placed to achieve a combination of ancient, modern modes of knowledge, and so to create an ethically grounded way of being in the world. With the fresh opportunities represented by your new campus, it is my hope that your center will contribute ever more effectively in promoting positive developments in India now and for the future. With my prayers and good wishes. What a moment. What a moment. My friends, his blessings and message will continue to breathe life into this campus, ensuring it stands not just as a physical space, but as an eternal beacon of wisdom, compassion, and harmony. His act of inauguration, though from afar, carries an immeasurable significance, leaving a timeless imprint on our center, and will constantly remind us of his profound message of peace, interconnectedness, and the pursuit of truth. This campus will forever resonate with his vision, inspiring generations to walk the path of enlightenment and service. The inauguration at the hands of His Holiness is significant for another reason. Dr. Dilip Padgaonkar was one of the key founders of Pune International Centre. And he always used to remind us that Pune International Centre is an international centre in Pune. And we are not disappointed. Look at Asia Economic Dialogue, for example, thanks to the leadership of Ambassador Gautam Bambale and others. It has created a global footprint. And some even sort of refer to it now as a Davos of the East. I know that we are far away from that, but it feels good and proud to hear this. So Dilip, as I say, you're not there anymore, but you are everywhere for us. From somewhere up there, you must be watching this event and feeling proud. International Centre in Pune, because it's an international yoga inaugurated today. I go down the memory lane. I remember in NCL on 24th October 2010, we had a meeting. It was chaired by late B.G. Deshmukh, and Mohan Dariyaji blessed it, and many institutional heads and thought leaders were there in that meeting. And it was decided that we'll form the Pune International Centre, and the inauguration took place on 21st September 2011. And most revered Anna Dharia, our beloved Dada, sorry about that. Our beloved Dada was the chief guest. And you know, I still recollect, there was a huge gathering of citizens across Pune in that Alpa Bachat Bhavan, from culture, from education, from law, from science, from engineering, from politics, from trade, from commerce, from manufacturing industry, from civil society. And I'm very proud that 14 years down the line, we are exactly the same. That's something special about my Pune. Very, very proud indeed that we are all gathered for this celebration. The mood and tone in that meeting, by the way, was very simple, as a matter of fact. Everybody said that in 1920s, Pune stood as the cradle of intellectual and political renaissance, had the towering thought leaders like Lokmanya Tilak, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, and so on and so forth. Pune is a city that shaped ideas, ignited movements, and led the nation as a beacon of thought and reforms then, 100 years ago. So all were unanimous that a century later, in 2020, we should rekindle the spirit of transformative and visionary leadership and bring back Pune to the center stage as a national thought leader. And that is how it was born. I'm not going to give you the statistics of what we achieved. I'm not going to tell you that from 20 founding members, we rose to 511 individual members, 59 institutional members, 14 corporate makers, huge change. I'm not going to tell you that we had 400 speakers, 75,000 attendees, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to tell you. Have I told you? But since its inception, I would say that PIC has been a torchbearer of visionary dialogue, groundbreaking ideas and transformative collaborations. Our constant endeavor has been to confront the critical challenges of our times and craft ways for a better tomorrow. What is special about this place? Just look around. Just look around. You'll say, ICER there, Indian Institute of Science Education Research, next to NCL, ARD, CMET, HEMRL, IITM. We have ORDIP, Unit on Research Development on Information Products, the Venture Center, and so on and so forth. And just go down the line and you'll find Pune University, IUCA, JMRT, NCCS, NIC, etc. It's absolutely incredible. I was asking Sunil Bhagwat about how many PhD students does he have just across? 650. Next to that, Prakash Rao, 550. NCL. Put together, 1200. 1200 PhDs in 1 square kilometer. It stands for record. So this is an intellectual hub, as a matter of fact. It's absolutely incredible. And therefore, we have to see that proximity brings synergy, ideas collide, innovation thrives, dynamic exchange of expertise, perspectives, they take place, and this amplifies the entire collective effort, so as to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, for us now, for PIC, it is not just a co-location, it's a co-creation. When the whole becomes greater than the sum of its part, and this has to become the melting pot of ideas, innovation, and creativity. You will have some profound thoughts on PIC 2.0 later. I'm not going to get into that, but one of my silent desires is that we become the catalyst for creating that melting pot. On the side, as you get old, you want to tell some story, so I must tell you something interesting. I was in NCL, I came in 1996 until 95, 21 years I was just right here. Then association with ICER. What happened was, the idea of ICER came in when, as a member of Science Advisory Committee to the Prime Minister, I was making a presentation to Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. And I was showing how China was growing institutes of science and how the PhD students were going up, started coming down because they created world-class science institutions. And I said, sir, in 2008, we'll be celebrating 100 years of Institute of Science, and you did not create it. Tata's created it. In fact, people know it as Tata Institute of Science. Rickshawala knows it as Tata Institute of Science. That is where the discussion about creating new institutions started. And all credit to Bharat Ratna, Professor Sena Rao for driving it. And that's how ICER came. But then came the next point. Where do we set up ICERs? And as our former education minister, you will know the competition that always sort of takes place. And I was very keen that it comes to Pune. And I remember there was a meeting where they started talking, and minimum 100 acres of land was required, by the way. And I remember, because my challenge is I don't think from here, I think from here. I raised my hand and I said, I give 100 acres. Because I was DG of CSR and I had 450 acres of NCL land. Didn't take any permission, by the way. I've done that many times, but I have not been sort of punished. So I didn't realize that I would spend 21 years here in NCL, and then ICER will come here, and then now PIC will come here. God is so kind. I feel lucky, actually. I would like to end by saying that a lot of people have to be thanked for what has happened. I can't take all the names. Some of them we'll be honoring later, but I want to sincerely thank the Maharashtra government, because without this land, we would not be here. It took a few governments, few chief ministers, but I must say that everyone backed up solidly. The second is construction. 75 crores for the first phase, and a few more are required for the second phase. And the donors, the corporate donors, some of them are sitting here, basically most grateful to you. Without this, this would not have been possible. And finally, that we are meeting today rather than 1 year later for inauguration, local authorities matter. They matter very much. And the speed with which they have moved, I want to sort of thank them also. So all good things have to come to an end, and so is my address, but there is something that I have to take my mind back, and I would like to do that and close. Prashant Girbane, in his usual efficient style, got me the text of the speech I had given in 2011. Okay, 14 years ago. So I have it here. And the last para that I ended my speech with, 14 years later, I'd like to repeat. And I had said, someone was interviewing me, and he asked me, what is your dream for Pune International Centre? So I said, when you think of a city, what do you think? For example, when you think of London, what do you think? He said, Buckingham Palace. When you think of New York, what do you think? He said, Statue of Liberty. When you think of Paris, what do you think? He said, Eiffel Tower. I said, 20 years down the line, I will not be there, but what I would love to see is when people think of Pune, people think of Pune International Centre. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for this goosebump moment. May I now request Dr. Vijay Kerkar, Vice President, to address the audience.
Dr. Mashelkar, our distinguished President, my two colleagues, Ravi Pandit and Pashan Girmane, our former Palak Mantri of Pune, Prakash Javadekar ji, and trustees of PIC, and all the members and their guests who are assembled here. I want to add my vote of welcome, vote already given by Dr. Mashelkar. It's a very difficult act to follow Dr. Mashelkar. He has already taken it to really roaring heights, but my DNA is finance ministry, so I'll bring everybody to the earth. And tell more about concrete things, what this org is all about. When we thought of PIC, two things were quite clear in our mind, that it should be an independent think tank. Because most of the think tanks were either created in India, either by corporate houses, or the central government or state governments. So in that sense, this is probably the first think tank, as I think, which is completely independent in the sense that it came about by a few hundred professionals came together. Some of the academic institutions joined in, and this was created. Second, and I'm sure it will warm Prakash's heart, we also want to challenge the monopoly of Delhi as if they can think. And that the distributed intelligence, as they say, is much better than single intelligence. And so we wanted to create a institution which can work at national problems and suggest the way out of our challenges. Because all mature economies, the policies tend to be knowledge-based. And the second feature of mature economies and societies are that they're also consensus-led. So two vital requirements for good policies are, one, they should be knowledge-based, and second, it should be driven by consensus. And these are the primary function of PIC as a policy think tank, to create a body of knowledge and also through our outreach program try to create consensus. And I thought that I'll share with you that over the last 14 years, we have not been done too badly. We have worked in several areas to exactly fulfilling this mission. And these areas are national security. For this, thanks to our distinguished founder trustee, General Mehta, we started a program of Pune Dialogue on National Security. And our ambition is that over time, it should be as critical to not only India, but other parts of the world as Munich Dialogue has emerged over the years. And this has been the mandate and requirement given by General Mehta to us. And he, very harsh taskmaster, like his boss, General Sundarji. And we are not, I don't think, passed his approval yet. But whole attempt is this to area of national security, bring out our analysis and discussion, and make advances on national security. Second area which we work on policies on, other very important national objective, which is sustainable development. And these efforts are led by our trustee, Professor Malik, who's here, who has been, I'm going to use Marathi word because I can't think of equivalent English word. He's झपाटलेला आहे when it comes to environment. He drinks, sleeps, dreams only of environment. And he led our efforts, and we have every year national conference on climate change. But under his leadership, we accept the challenge given by his mentor, Abdul Kalam, our president, honorable president. He visited the PIC. He told Amit and us that, was a point of talking about the world, international. Can you make Pune region carbon neutral? And this is a major research program and what is going on currently in the PIC, essentially is to make Pune metro region as carbon neutral. Third area in which we work and is issue of urban reforms, urbanization, and all policies related to multi-level governance. As you know, as India has become, in this coming phase, the cooperative federalism is going to be the key to really ensure that our country grows and develops. And it's one of the important areas of our emphasis and research. And Professor Abhay Pete, who is, I don't want to embarrass him, but he is probably India's best mind when it comes to urban economics. And he leads this area. Then we have this very interesting and fascinating field of geoeconomics and geopolitics, which is guided in one of other trustees, Ambassador Gautam Babawale. And we are doing major research program, and also as Dr. Marshall mentioned, we hold Asian Economic Dialogue with collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs. And this is one way of sort of hopefully taking some of the ideas from south of India to Delhi, that what we should do, how we should organize our interrelations. Then, of course, thanks to under leadership of Dr. Mashelkar, our work is on science, technology, innovation, because sometimes I feel innovation is a middle name of Dr. Mashelkar. It should be Ramesh Innovation Mashelkar. And so under that, not only the overall innovation, but we also have a very major program, very unique in India, on what we call social innovation. And we run a social issue lab. And I'm really very proud that this innovation lab is led by mentors who are all our members, who are themselves very accomplished entrepreneurs. And I don't want to talk about market cap individually, but I think collectively probably goes multiple of billions of dollars. But they gave free time as a mentor to help the innovators. And that's the other area of our work is social innovation. And so each of these areas, we work out policy papers as we do it and also do the actual outreach. I just want to mention 3 examples as a policy research which got effective, got translated into policy change. Very first policy paper we brought out was on corporate governance. And Dr. Miley was at time minister. He came to PIC, we presented to him. And within a year, the new policies for corporate governance were largely based upon the paper which was given by the PIC. So there was one example I'd like to give. Other is the national education policy. Under Jawadekarji's regime, there was a national education policy was initiated with the Dr. Kasurangan was tasked with. So we worked on one very important neglected area in our education, is how do you harvest gifted students and gifted citizens of India? How do we make our education system, identify them, nurture them, and sort of promote that? So we wrote a paper on essentially how to education policy for gifted, and it found a place in national education policy as how to make India's policy on promoting giftedness. The third example, which all of us benefit, I hope, was during COVID pandemic. That then the Honorable Chief Minister Uddhavji Thackeray telephoned Dr. Mashelkar and said what PIC can do, help for the government of Maharashtra. And we set up a small group and series of issues which government wanted to help, we sent the policy papers. Many of them were acted upon speedily, many took a little longer time, but the government was extremely receptive. And one concrete example was that they were concerned about employment, especially in construction sector. So we did propose some of the fiscal measures which were within the state's domain, and it immediately perked up the activity. And that time it was helpful to have Dr. Karir as a principal, additional chief secretary in Maharashtra, and he also helped us to push this. Now currently, Dr. Karir is our distinguished trustee. Finally, the national security. And national security, I already mentioned, we bring out discussion every year. But more importantly, unfortunately, one can't give details, but from time to time, Minister of Defense individually approach the PIC trustees or members to work on specific problems they would like our advice on how to handle some of the challenges which they face. And some of them are extremely important and with relation to national security. So, right from the day one, we have been working on policy research, and it was done with the help of our members, trustees, and through our outreach program, we have been also somewhat influenced the policies. So at least taken away now, Ministry of Defense will need to look out Delhi. There is a place called Pune, so they do consultants, similar other ministries, and other part of India are, Pune has 2 think tanks. One is Pune International Centre, and the other is Dr. Mashelkar. Because there is no chief minister in India who will consult him. So I want to take some credit, and also partly from the PIC support. But for instance, the chief minister of Madhya Pradesh, and it across the party line, not just one part of the party, across the party line, people consult, and we do support him, and through that we try to influence policies. In addition to research, we also bring out important books, and there have been so far 4 or 5 bestsellers. One is on the Galwan crisis. Our very, very concerned, informed trustee Gautam Mambawali mobilized 6 of us, and we brought out a publication, How to Respond to Rising China. And Gautam, will I be wrong to say that it had some influence on thinking in wherever it matters. The other book was brought out by under the leadership of our other trustee, Dr. Natarajan, on when Prime Minister announced the target of $5 trillion, whole question came, how do you do it? And Ganesh again mobilized colleagues. We brought out a book called India's Pathway to Success, which outlines the steps. One is how to get there. One is objectives, how to get there. Then very recently, under the leadership of Dr. Professor Malik, we also brought out a book on sustainable and climate resilient development in India. And only recently, again, now this time Uma took the leadership, and I think Ganesh just followed her. And we've brought out a book on Nari Shakti. What are the ways how genuinely India can achieve women empowerment. So we also hold annual conference on development with the collaboration with other think tanks. We bring it out in a journal, it's an online journal. They are published called Journal Emerging Markets is published, and it's done every year. For instance, we so far had examples I can think of one on urbanization, which Professor Abhay Peshe led. Then one was on, I think, if I recall, on migration. And we make some recommendations, and all papers are made available on the online journal. But I think the one which we are really take special pride is our social research lab, which you must have seen when we went around. And through this, and as I mentioned, through the help of our mentors, we have helped a number of innovators coming from distant parts of India. It comes all over India, from rural areas, from urban areas, from tribal areas. And our mentors, and through the lab, we help them in the area of designing their products, how to market their products, or even how to raise fund from the market. And it has been extremely successful. And we're going to bring out a book called, which one of my colleagues, Dr. Vishal Gaikwad, is writing, and it will come out, on social innovation, especially focusing on women entrepreneurs in social innovation. So there are a number of areas where this Vastu will enable us to deepen our work and widen our work. And I seek each one of you support, because this is a members-led organization. And members will have to learn to contribute to this effort, or this what I call yajna, of creating knowledge for policy change, for where we want our country to go. So if you see the logo of the PIC, I should explain our designer. She is gone to Mahakumbh, no? So she is not here. But if you see the colors of her logo, you see, first in the center is a churn, because she said this is a Vichar Manthan Kendra. So this is Manthan. The color on the top is the gold, and she explains that gold is a sign of wisdom, and there's the red, which is a sign of youth. So it's a youth-led Manthan, but protected by wisdom, is what the Vichar Manthan Kendra is. This is our logo, and this you will find everywhere. And this is done by Falguni. And so our logo is, I think, as Dr. Mashelkar has taught us, churn of ideas and to aspire so that we can transform the future. So I once again thank you all for coming and helping us to start this yajna. All request help from all of you. We still have a lot of distance to go. It's only first phase, and my hands are always open to collect funds. There's a beautiful book by Anna Sahib Karve, Bharchi Karve. He wrote about many raised funds for his university, and I'll say in Marathi and then translate. ते म्हणाले की पैसे घेताना जर काम योग्य असेल लाज बाळगा तुम्ही. So don't be shy or feel small for asking money for the good cause. So friends, this is a good cause. We all depend on your support, and we'll different kind and cash both are welcome. But essentially, really, it has to be we have to make it real vibrant and fulfill the best that we can offer to India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kerkar. Our apologies for the background sound. I now request Treasurer and Trustee, Dr. Ravi Pandit, to please come to the...
I hope to beat that performance. Dr. Mashelkar, Dr. Kerkar, my colleague Prashant, fellow friends and well-wishers of PIC. So my job is to talk about what is it that we are looking at, PIC 2.0. So the excellence and the elegance that you see of this place, the ambience and the openness that you see here, I would think is only indicative of the course of actions that we want to take for PIC in the years to come. I think this reflects, and it has been very well brought out by our architect Ravi Kadam, this reflects the spirit of this place. So what is this International Centre in Pune going to stand for? So as Dr. Kerkar has mentioned, independent policy research is an extremely important foundation of a good civilization, of a good nation. And our focus is going to be on policy research. And what does that policy research relate to? It should relate to everything that touches our individual as well as social lives. So we are talking about areas such as economics, politics. We are talking about areas of science and technology. We are talking about areas of art and culture. These are the areas that we want to touch upon in our work. What is it that we are looking for in our policy research? And again, I might be repeating some of the things that Dr. Kerkar mentioned. First is, of course, objectivity and independence. The more there is a tendency to follow a certain line of thinking, the greater is the importance of an independent, objective opinion. And that is the role that we intend to follow. That's the role that we intend to have in all the years to come. A very important part of this is fact-based research. Too often, you see a lot of research papers coming up which are not actually hard facts-based. And we want to make our reports with our research. The poor fellow, he just thought he had won the war because the music had stopped. It's okay, don't matter, doesn't matter. It's a challenge to my, my performance. So data-based, fact-based research is what we want to do. There are many think tanks who come up with yet another report, but we pride ourselves with unique insights, and that is something that we want to continue to do. So unique insights, fact-based, and objective independence. One more thing is also the thing about practical implementability. And Dr. Kerkar mentioned, and I would like to add a few, that typically the work that we want to do should be something which can be implemented here and now, as well as the work that we do which can guide the way of thinking in this country. So this is what we are really looking forward to in our areas of focus. We are going to focus on 5 areas, which I'll come to shortly. But the structure, any work that you need to do has to have a good structure to it. So for each of our verticals, we are looking at somebody who would be like a senior fellow. And for each of these areas, we have identified one, and I'll talk about it in a minute. There would be a senior fellow. There are fellows below that, analysts, as well as interns. Last year, we started something called a junior research fellow. And we recruited some, and in the last year, we came up with 20 reports on different aspects of our, the range that I talked about. We are hoping that we should be able to attract at least 20 research fellows every year, And we are hoping to do 100 policy papers a year. These researchers need not work at PIC full-time, but this could be an area where they build their career. They would work with us for a few years, do their bit, work with the likes of Dr. Kelkar and Dr. Mashelkar and others, the other senior fellows that I'm going to talk about. I think it would add to their career and it would add to the level of public thought in this country. So we'll continue to have research papers, books, conferences and seminars. Now the areas and the centers that we have now planned are, there is a Center for Cooperative Federalism and Multi-Level Governance, which Dr. Pethe heads, which covers the entire gamut of governance as such. Then we have a Center for Comprehensive National Security Studies. General Patankar heads that. He has been spearheading that for the last few years. Till then, till recently, it was just called PDNS. It was a Pune Dialogue of National Security. Now we really want to expand it to cover comprehensive national security. And beyond that, just one function in a year, we will do a slew of other things during the year. Then, of course, we have the Social Innovation Lab, on which Dr. Kelkar elaborated. I don't want to talk more about it. But this is something that Prashant himself handles. We have a Center for Geopolitics and Geoeconomics. And till now, we really had one flagship event, which was the Asia Economic Dialogue. And I must say it has grown in stature over the years. And we will expand this further. And this is headed by none other than Ambassador Bambawale. We are starting a new center, a Center for Sustainable Energy and Mobility, which I'll be looking after for some time. And we are working on, as the name talks about, sustainability and energy and mobility. And we will work along with the function that Amitabh has been handling for a long time, which is the EECC. So we're going to combine these and grow that further. We have a vision of starting a Center for Arts and Culture. And that's going to be very critical. And we are looking for inputs in that area. You can't have such a beautiful auditorium and such a beautiful amphitheater unless you have arts and culture programs here. And so that is something very much on the anvil with us. So these are some of the things that we are planning to do. How do we see PIC 2.0? Now we want to see this place as vibrant, pulsating, a lot of young people. We have a lot of people young in energy and enthusiasm, but we also need people young in age. And there are a lot of institutions nearby from which we can draw a lot of people coming in. So we would like to see here a lot of youngsters present that can bring a lot of vibrancy and energy to the place. And we will do multiple actions to ensure that that happens. Our membership has been open to many, the only qualification being a standard of scholarship. So youth, no bar, scholarship, definitely essential. So that is what we are looking for. Our programs, as you know, are open for all. And we will continue to do that. And so there will be programs related to art and culture, politics and philosophy, science and technology, all these areas. As we heard earlier, Pune was once known for its social and intellectual contribution to this country. We want to contribute in our own small way to bringing that glory back to this auspicious city. All of us here are an important part of that mission. And we do look forward to your contributions in making our joint vision come to reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pandit. May I now request Director and Trustee Prashant Girbane to address the audience.
सर्वप्रथम आपल्या सर्वांना माझा सप्रेम नमस्कार. I'm here to talk about making of this campus. Let me take you back the memory lane, maybe 13 years back, 2011. It was 2nd of April 2011, about same time, 6:35, 6:37, but in London. I was glued onto the television set. It was 49th over. I think it was second ball, Nuvan Kulasekara. Mahendra Singh Dhoni was on the other end. He hit that six. We won the World Cup. The very next day, I was scheduled to come back to India. I and my family came back to India for good after about 10 years in London. I didn't know what was in store when I would come back to Pune. By 5th of April, I was here. On 21st of April, I went to attend the 137th Vasanta Vakyanmala in Tilak Smarak Mandir. The inaugural lecture was delivered by Dr. Vijay Kelkar, the 137th Vasanta Vakyanmala. The title of the lecture was about India Rising, the Growth Dynamics. After the lecture, I remember that we met in a room with Karandikar sir, Pingle sir, and I heard Dr. Mashelkar talking about, this is April 2011 by the way, Dr. Kelkar talking about a think tank that's taking shape in Pune, and Dr. Mashelkar would be the president of it, and some others would be associated. I jumped up. That's the first time I was meeting him. I said, can I be volunteer there? A week later, I got a call, and they asked me to be director of PIC. Of course, I said yes. The only request was, because I was also doing some work that time, I said, like you all, I would also like to volunteer. For the past 13 years, it's been a voluntary effort, like them all, and I'm very, very proud of that effort. 9th September, we met in Alpa Bachat Bhavan for a meeting. 24th September, we had the inaugural session that we heard. Even before the inaugural session, I recollect whole lot of discussions about documenting what PIC would be happen in a farm. That was Pingle farm in Mr. Suresh Pingle's residence. And hence, even today, the address of PIC is Pingle farm. I'm sure it's getting changed now to this address, but even today it's that. It's interesting that as we moved that office to where my desk space was, couple of months later after September, in December 2011, the first individual who joined PIC was Kiran Pardeshi. So after Kiran joined Tejas, and soon we realized we need bigger place. And yes, we moved to a bigger place. It was 15 by 15. There were 4 or 5 of us in that room. It was in Malti Society on the SB Road. Then we realized we have some more people joining us. So in somewhere around 2013-14, we moved to a 2 BHK in the same place. But we have some wonderful memories of that place. Mrs. Kelkar ma'am, you might remember, you came there many times, but once you came with a couple of bagfuls, and I wondered, what is it? So there was a microwave oven, there was some chai patti, and there were some utensils. I said, why? She said, look, you've been working here for long, all of your colleagues, and there is not even a place where you can go for a tea or coffee. There is not even a coffee shop nearby. That's how it was. We moved to two of the 2 BHKs. After 4 or 5 years in 2019, we moved to MCCI on the other side of the road. So from about 200 square feet, we moved to 1,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet, and about more than 200,000 square feet here. And Kelkar ma'am, now we would have a cafe there and another one coming up here. So everyone in PIC, trust you me, would get all the tea and coffee, all our members and all the visitors. That we have ensured for sure. Let me share another perspective on making of the campus. On 11th May 2012, Karandikar sir, you wrote the first letter to then Chief Minister of Maharashtra, as then General Secretary, requesting for a lease land so that we could build our own campus, 12 years ago. After that, we wrote about 35 odd letters. Dr. Kiran Kulkarni, you are here. Both of us went when you were with PIC many times to Mantralaya, met many officers. As the president talked about, they talked to multiple leaders. And fortunately, all of them agreed, but it does take time. I think there are some of my friends here who asked me informally, hey, there are so many scholars and stalwarts in PIC. Why does it still take so long? I told them that's why. That's why, because I had a very clear direction. There is only one way to build the institution. There is only one way to build the institution, and that's the right way without cutting any corners. And we're okay no matter how long it takes. And it was natural because the efforts were led in terms of guidance by none other than Nimbalkar sir. And we were very, very clear that it has to be the right way and there is no corner cut, no matter how long it takes. The decade that it took us to get the paperwork was worth it because this institution would be here, hosting thousands of programs, hundreds and thousands of people in all of this facility for decades to come. So a decade of patience was worth it in that sense. Here is the third dimension to the making of this beautiful campus. It was 22nd of March 2015, so that's about 9 years ago. I had an opportunity to tag along with both of you. We went to Fort Mumbai, the Elphiston building. We went to the third floor, I think it was third floor. With your advice, Dr. Mashelkar and Dr. Kelkar, I made the presentation. The presentation went for 15 odd minutes, but the interaction thereafter was the most wonderful thing that I could hear. It is both of you interacting with Mr. Ratan Tata. We came back. Within a week or two, I received a letter. The letter was from Tata Trust in the name of the director. And it said, we would like to make the contributions for your dream of building the campus. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tata. And I must also thank Siddharth Sharma ji, the CEO of the Tata Trust, who is here among us today. Let me take this opportunity to share the sentiments expressed by the visionary, compassionate Sri Ratan Tata. We wanted to share the progress of PIC. All of you are very keen that we keep him updated about this. So we got that opportunity on 20th of March 22. We set up a video call. Once again, you both went through every slide. It gave me the feeling as if I'm back in engineering school or management school and we all are a group preparing for a presentation, right? That's how meticulously both of them were kind of ensuring that the presentation is all right. We made the presentation. It was about 31 minutes. It was so important that I noted possibly every minute and every second of it. About 15 minutes of presentation. And once again, I had a wonderful opportunity to listen to three of you talk for the next 15-20 minutes. Let me quote Sri Ratan Tata. He said, this expresses his sentiments towards the people who were making PIC and what PIC is. He said, I quote, you both, Dr. Kelkar and Dr. Mashelkar, have had a lifelong desire to be saying the right thing with the least noise for the most effect. I can think of no ways but to say thank you to these gentlemen who have played low-key yet totally important role in the development of the national image. I can only say a big thank you on behalf of the country, unquote. Mr. Ratan Tata goes on to say, you two people I have always been impressed with, and I can never say enough, because the three of us, he meant two of them and him, the three of us have been friends, a friendship that has been intellectually searching, and in many ways, you are quite intellectual giants. He thanked you both for shaping a better world to live in, and wished all the PIC, all of us, the best. That was Mr. Ratan Tata. That was the first commitment for this campus that we all are sitting in. There is another interesting incident worth sharing with you. One late morning, I think it was Monday morning, I got a call from Dr. Mashelkar. And sir, you asked me, Prashant, what is it that we have asked from Reliance Foundation? I told you a number. I don't think it took more than 2 minutes. You called me back and you said the chairman has agreed at his level. 20 crores in 20 seconds. So it was 20 crores in 20 seconds. I was not getting the number until then. I think I have witnessed this campus, the resource raising for this campus from very, very close quarters, on how both of you have leveraged the lifelong relationships, the lifelong credentials for ensuring that we all get the resources needed to shape up this campus. Subsequently, we reached out to the others, and we are very thankful to Jamnalal Bajaj Foundation, Mr. Atul Kirloskar, Mr. Sanjay Kirloskar, some of them are here today with us, Dr. Abhay Firodia, Dr. Naushad Forbes, Ms. Anu Aga, Mr. Azim Premji, Mr. Nimesh Kampani, and Mr. Nusli Wadia. Each one of them, either individually or through their firms, contributed. Apart from these good Samaritans, there are two more. These two individuals gave a lot of their precious time and guidance to build this campus. They did not just do the quarterly and monthly meetings. They were with us weekly. They came here many times, both metaphorically and on occasions. In practice, they sweated it out. Not just that, on top of that, they also financially contributed. That's Mr. Satish Magar and Dr. Ravi Pandit, and of course I should say Dr. Ravi Pandit and Mrs. Pandit. Beyond their contribution to look at every aspect of it, they also came forward and made sure that it's financially supported to make it happen. Of course, you would get to hear about contributions some others have made. Even if it's not financial, it's a very, very important contribution in making this campus. My colleague and the new director of Pune International Centre, General Nitin Gadkari, will talk about this. But let me come towards conclusion by just saying, I heard it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a lot of collective efforts to build something. It has taken collective efforts of many, many to build this campus. To conclude, let me go back to 2nd of April 2011, where I started. You all remember the celebrations in Wankhede when Virat and other players took Sachin on their shoulder. There is a quote from Sachin, the great master. Let me share the often quoted line. Don't stop chasing your dreams, because dreams do come true. That's been the story of 13 years, 4 months, and 2 days since the launch of PIC on 24th September 2011. And that's been the story of making of this campus. This dream of us all has indeed come true, but that's the foundation, that's the beginning, and we haven't stopped dreaming. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. I would now like to invite to the dais Major General Nitin Gadkari, Director, Pune International Centre, to propose a vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure all of you first would like to join with me to give thanks to the 4 gentlemen who are sitting here, without whom this dream would not have been dreamt. This was not in my script, but having listened to them, I have no choice but to start with that. This evening, we have gathered to celebrate an important milestone in the journey of PIC, finding its abode. This journey of PIC, as narrated by the 4 erudite speakers before me, would never have reached this momentous occasion without the hard work, toil, and dedication of many people, like Pashan said. Every monument takes collective efforts of many to come alive. Tonight, our thanks first go out to those unnamed and unsung people who have helped PIC in its journey to shape its future and are not present here. Amongst us are people who have been part of this journey, and without whom we would not be sitting here tonight. They are the real architects of this beautiful complex. We at PIC wish to show our gratitude by felicitating them. I will request each one of them to come on stage once I call out their names. You will be felicitated by Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Shri, President of PIC. I will request Dr. Mashelkar to felicitate them once they come on stage. First, may I request Shri MD Bhalarao, Managing Director of Logoman Energy Private Limited, to please come on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Shri Bhalarao and his team members, Ms. Priyanka Bapat, Mr. Prashant, Akshay Patange, Shailesh, and Amar Thakur have provided the plumbing and electrical connections to the complex. The beautiful lights and effects are all possible thanks to their effort. Thank you. Next, I invite the father and son duo of Pradeep and Ronak Giri of Time Architecture. The sheer listening pleasure and dynamic lighting of the auditorium are all possible because of the two of them. Mr. Pradeep Giri is a well-known acoustic consultant who has worked for more than 1,000 auditoriums and theatres all over India and abroad. Next, I request Mr. Prashant Mule to come on stage, please. Mr. Mule is the owner of Rahuldeep Constructions Private Limited, our main contractor for RCC and civil works. He is the Vishkarma of this complex. He and his team, Mr. Bhagwat Patil, Avinash Dhase, Daneshwar Garud, Shrutik, and Raju have created this magnificent structure which are both ergonomic and beautiful. May I now request Falguni Gokhale to come on stage, please, but as I understand, she is not here. So I request Satish Gokhale to come on stage, please. Satish is an equal partner with Falguni in all her, I'm tempted to say crimes, but I'm scared of retribution, so I use a better word, ventures. Falguni, as I'm told, is washing off her sins in Kumbh Mela. No, I didn't say that. Satish told me in the evening earlier. That's in the lighter vein, but we owe a lot to Falguni here at PIC, and as already said, she is the creator and designer of our logo. She's also designed the donor boards and the signage in the complex. And this beautiful logo that you see in front of you. Thank you, Satish. Next, I invite Varsha and Ravi Gawande on stage, please. Varsha and Ravi, they are the landscape consultants with PIC. They have won many prestigious awards. They have planned this beautiful amphitheater we are sitting now. We also thank their partners in execution, Mr. Shahnawaz Sheikh, Nikhit Moite, and Pradeep Barapande, for the beautiful landscaping of this complex. Next, I invite Ravi and Tanaya Kadam, the father and daughter duo, who are the architectural consultants to PIC. They have done the master planning of this project as well as the detailed designing of the buildings. We also thank their partners, Bhilare and Bhushan Bhalarao, the structural and MVP consultants, and Shrev Virkar, who assisted Tanya in supervising. Thank you. Thank you, Ravi and Tanaya. Thank you. And don't mind my yesterday's suggestion to you. I would next invite Colonel Kinjalkar to the stage, please. Colonel Kinjalkar is the project officer of the new complex, who oversaw everything that was being done was as per the blueprint. He not only delivered, but also earned the tag of hard taskmaster in the bargain. His constant presence on the site is the principal reason why we are sitting here tonight, in time. We'd like to thank his site engineer, Mr. Ganesh Kale, who ably supported him in supervision of the construction. I have a surprise here. And I like to invite on stage somebody who's already on the stage, Mr. Pashan Girbane. He's been specially felicitated by the President and Vice President for his singular contribution towards PIC New Complex. Thank you, Prashant. And last but not the least, I have to felicitate one more man. Any guesses? There can be only one person who can fit that bill. It was meant to be a surprise, but then who can hide the sun? He was the brain behind the entire complex. He is the chairman of the infrastructure committee of PIC, and this magnificent complex owes a lot to his understanding of building structures, his leadership, his guidance, and his commitment to making this magnus opus. May I please invite Shri Satish Magar to the stage.
You know, Satish, because of you, many of the bets I have lost with Dr. Mashelkar about the likelihood of this completion.
I also take this opportunity on behalf of our President, Dr. Mashelkar, and Vice President, Dr. Kelkar, to thank all our esteemed guests who joined us from outside, who spared their time, valuable time, and joined us in our hour of celebration and glory. I thank you all for coming. I also like to thank the PIC members and trustees present tonight. It's been a record of sorts to get as many PIC members as this under one sky, literally, for the first time ever. We also thank the guests who have joined us from outside on a simple invitation, whether on social media or on individual invites. Thank you very much for your presence today. I also take this opportunity to thank the event manager here, Sunil Khate, who's done a tremendous job in putting this whole show here. Thank you, Sunil. And last but not the least, I'd like to thank the lovely ladies here who braved the Pune traffic and come here to join their husbands to be with us this evening. And we hope that you will be here more often to join action in future. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have not finished yet. There is something more coming. But from my side, a happy Republic Day and Jai Hind.
I'm so used to coming back to the mic. I'll just take literally one moment. I'm requesting both Lisa and General Gadkari to come here for one photograph that we'll all have. I recollect 2011, I forgot to mention one thing. Right since the day one, it was same Lisa who was making sure, that's 14 years ago, that everything goes right when we inaugurated PIC campus. So please, Lisa, we can't miss that. We'll just have a moment together. And thereafter, we'll have the Pasaidan, because after Pasaidan, we are not supposed to do anything else. Pasaidan is what we will end with, and hence.
Thank you all so much. We will be ending today's program with a beautiful rendition of the Pasaidan by Lata Mangeshkar ji. But before that, I invite Mr. Modak to explain the Pasaidan to us very briefly.
Very difficult act to follow. Yeah. I must first begin by thanking Dr. Kelkar for inviting me to speak about the Pasaidan. I am not a very learned person, but I've taken this opportunity to study a little bit about it. And I'll share some thoughts about it for the next 5 to 7 minutes. Dr. Mashelkar also was involved, I'm told, in making sure that I was the last person to speak here today. So my thanks to him as well. The PIC institution is also an appropriate milieu, and the place Pune too is, as they say in Marathi, sayuktik.
because we are slap bang in the middle between Alandi, where Sant Jnaneshwar took his samadhi, and Nevasa, where at the age of 16, he actually dictated the Jnaneshwari. So we are right there in the middle. Today I'm just trying to be a short storyteller, and it is a story of the creation of a Jnana Nagar by a mountain of a man who passed at his age of 22. I'm triple his age today and I feel it. And this is something that was seriously a major achievement for anybody. Let me take you through. What is the Pasayadan? In Marathi, as they say, परमेश्वराकडे विश्व कल्याणासाठी निरागसतेने केलेल्या आर्त मागणीच्या उत्तरादाखल दैवी कृपेची देणगी. Now that's a pretty large set of words, but to explain it in English, a divine blessing in response to a plea made with innocence and deep feeling for the well-being of the universe, not mankind, not the earth, the universe. In the case of this particular Pasayadan, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is asking for it after performing a Vag Yajna, creating the Marathi translation of the divine Gita from its original Girvan or Sanskrit. Jnanapith Awadi Kusumagraj or Viva Shirvadkar calls it the Kanchanacha Kalas, the golden crown on the Mandir of the Jnaneshwari. Now, who is Jnaneshwar and why did he write the Pasayadan? This is not for these gentlemen seated here alone. Quite a lot of you already know, but some of you don't. Jnaneshwar is the second of 4 siblings. Nivruttinath, then Jnaneshwar, then Sopan, which means ladder, and Muktabai. Their names cumulatively are the steps for a man to achieve moksha. And their parents decided those names in that light. So he did his job. Being children of a sannyasin who re-entered Grahasthashram, they were ostracized by society, especially the priestly class. They led extremely difficult lives. It's unimaginable. We can't imagine that. But by their sheer holiness and learning, they were able to make their way back into society. This led Jnaneshwar to have a deep appreciation of the way the lower strata of society, whether caste or class, was treated by the upper strata. And remember, this is the late 13th century. I'm talking about 1290, when the 16-year-old lad wrote. No real ruler was there to take care of the populace, no one to rail against or hold responsible for the lack of anything in life. And yet this young man takes it upon himself to bring to those people an eternally valid message so that they can take responsibility for their own lives and find a way to cross the Bhavasagar with the help of that knowledge. He's not lending them resources, he's lending them strength of the mind. Is he a philosopher or a poet? Is he a Mahajnani or a Mahakavi? He is a philosopher poet who composed the Jnaneshwari in the Marathi of the day to bring the message of the Gita to the common people. And he had a deep desire to enrich Marathi and give the common folk access to knowledge through Marathi, because that was the language of the people. He felt Marathi was good enough. It was still a dialect trying to become a language. But he felt it was good enough and he was confident he could do it. So he said, माझा मराठाची बोलू कवतिके, तरी अमृता तेही पैजा जिंके, ऐसी अक्षरे रसिके मेळवीन. With the huge Jnana Yagna of the Jnaneshwari, he laid the foundation of the Varkari Sampradaya, a foundation of entire Marathi Sahitya Sanskriti, to quote Bhaskar Eknath Rao Avhad. As they say, Jnanadeve rachila paya, kalas jhalke vari tukayacha. Now I'll make a small attempt to translate into English the Mahakavi's work. Just imagine, if you will, a lad of 16, 5 foot 2-3 inches, slightly emaciated, leaning his back against a stone pillar and speaking for us today the last 9 shlokas of the Jnaneshwari. At Nevasa, on the road from Pune to Nagar, the stone pillar next to which he sat and spoke the Jnaneshwari is now a part of a temple there. They say Jnaneshwar spoke and Namdev wrote it down. So the story goes. Who is Namdev Maharaj? Another Jnani, one whose own 63 verses are part of the Guru Granth Sahib at the Golden Temple, but that's another story. In our tradition, human creativity can display 9 rasas. It is said that the creations of Bharat, our founder, also had only 8 rasas, Shringar being one of the richest. But Jnaneshwar, out of the Navarasas, Shanta Rasa in Jnaneshwari is said to have gone beyond all the others. Now let me turn to the 9 verses proper. Ata Vishwatmake Deve, Yene Vag Yadne Toshave, Tosho Nimajadyave, Pasayadana. Now, O Lord of the universe, the one Atma of the entire universe, be pleased with my offerings and grant me your divine blessings. What am I begging for? The good of all living beings, not just limited to me. Majad Yahweh, but for whom? All living beings, not even just humanity. Bhoot, not Manava. This ask is to his Guru, elder brother Nivruttinath, whom he likens to the one true and only Lord of the universe. This is one of our hoary traditions of likening and revering the Guru. Kabir says in one famous doha, Guru Gobind dou khade, काके लागू पाए गुरु बलिहारी आपने गोविंद दियो दिखाए. The second verse, may the wicked discard their wickedness. जे खड़ांची व्यंकटी सांडो तया सत्कर्मी रति वाढ़ो भूता परस्परे जड़ो पढ़ो मैत्र जीवान से. It seems pretty obvious what the meaning is. And may they kindle their interest in good deeds. May all living beings love one another. Again and again, living beings, not just human beings, as soulmates. May the darkness of ignorance depart. Duritan se timira javo, vishwa swadharma surye paho. Jo je vanchi latote laho. My friend Ajit, prani jata. Again, may the universe behold its son of Swadharma. Swadharma is duties, not religion. But in the Indian tradition, in the Hindu tradition, it is called dharma to mean our way of life and our duties in life. So may whatever desires of whosoever be fulfilled after these preconditions have been fulfilled. First you have to become good, and then only can you make demands of the Lord. Not Jose Vanchila Tote Lahu, just like that. So, and again, pranijat are not just human beings for whom other living beings are provided as conveniences. No. Each one of us has a role to play in the universe. May the saints shower piousness upon the congregation. Varshata Sakalamangali, Ishwara Nishthanchi Mandiyali, Anavarata Bhumandali, Bheta Tu Bhuta. This Mandiyali concept is most dear to my heart. PIC is hoping to become a Mandiyali. From whatever discussions you've heard these gentlemen talk about today, we are trying to create not a bunch of just big thoughts, but a bunch of people who will permeate the universe, hopefully first of all Indians and then the universe. As a moving grove of wish-fulfilling trees, Chala Kalpatarun se Arava. Chala as in moving. Kalpataru is the wish-fulfilling tree. And a grove of such fulfilling trees. This is what we should have as a part of our lives. So this Mandiyari should be consisting of Kalpatarus, or a town whose citizens are all jewels of consciousness. Chetana Chintamani se Agava. Bolate je Arnava. Arnava is a sea. Bolate je Arnava Piyushanse. Distributing seas of nectar and amrit. This is a utopian vision which he was trying to permeate, but with confidence, having written the Jnaneshwari as the precursor. He then goes into really beautiful language. Chandrameze alanchana, martandaze tapahina, ते सर्वाही सदा सज्जन सोयरे होतु. A moon without blemish, a sun without pain, not heat enough to cause you pain, but Sheetal heat, Sheetal light, sorry. Moreover, being fully contented, Kimbahuna Sarva Sukhi, Purna Hovoni Tinhi Loki, Bhajizo Adi Purukhi Akhandita. So, moreover, being fully contented and satisfied in all three worlds, Prithvi, Swarga, Patal, may they worship the Supreme Being unceasingly. All this is about this Mandyali. May those who live by the divine scriptures, Ani Granthopajiviye, we talk about Shruti, Smriti, Puranokta. So these are the three main granthas that we talk about. Visheshina Loki Iyena, Drushta Drushta Vijayena Hovaveji. So Drushta and Adrushta, both the visible and the sensorily receivable universe and that which is beyond our senses. Here says the Lord of the universe, Yetha Mane Shri Vishweshwaraho, Ha Hoila Dana Pasavo, Yene Vare Jnanadeva Sukhiya Jala. So he is confident, he is not begging, he is begging but also confident. He is saying that with this Vagyajna, the universe will heed his ask and grant it. And that is why he will be happy. Jnanadeva envisioned the possibility of peace and brotherhood among all living beings in the universe. As such, therefore, reciting the Pasayadana is a beginning to that process and also the means to that end. It is almost an ask for utopia, but he is confident that the beginning has been made properly, and others following in his path will do all that is further needed, so the ask is bound to come to fruition. On our part at PIC, if I may count myself one among which I am as it happens, let us pray that we become a part of this Mandyali that he envisaged. This is not just a hope. Hope is not a great strategy, but a belief that PIC will indeed rise to that height. With this positive thought, I conclude my talk and request that we all immerse ourselves in the Pasayadan sung by the divine Lata Mangeshkar.
येने वाग्यज्ञे तोषावे तोषोनि मजद्यावे पसायदान है जे खळांची व्यंकटी सांडो तया सत्कर्मी रतिवाढो भूता परस्परे पडो मैत्र जीवांचे दुरिताते तिमिर जाओ विश्वस्वधर्म सूर्ये पाहो जो देवांशील तो तेलाहो प्राणी जात वर्षत सकळ मंगळी ईश्वर निष्ठांची मांदियाळी अनवरत भूमंडळी भेट तू भूता चला कल्पतरूंचे आरव चेतना चिंतामणींचे गाव बोलते जे अर्णव पीयूषाचे चंद्रमे जे अलांछन मार्तंड देता पहीन ते सर्वाही किं बहुना सर्वसुखी पूर्ण होनिसिहि लोकी भजिजो आदि पुरुषी अखंडित आणि ग्रंथोपजीविये विशेषी लोकीये दृष्टादृष्ट विजये हो आवे जी येथ म्हणे श्री विश्वेश्वराव हा होईल दान पसावो येणे वरे ज्ञान देवो सुखिया झाला.
With that, we conclude today's program. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Have a great evening.